Welcome to History Crossroads, where past meets present, and every story reveals a new path through time.
Picture this. It's December 1944, and there's this guy sitting in a lecture hall in Switzerland. Nothing special about him, right? Just another face in the crowd, wearing a simple tweed suit, listening quietly. But here's the thing. This ordinary-looking man is carrying a gun and a cyanide pill, and he's there to decide whether to kill one of the world's most brilliant scientists. His name was Moe Berg, and before this moment, he was just a baseball player. Not even a great one, honestly. But somehow, this backup catcher from New Jersey ended up holding the fate of World War II in his hands. And the craziest part? He wasn't trained for this. He wasn't some super spy or military genius. He was just a guy who happened to be really, really smart and spoke a bunch of languages. So how the hell did a mediocre baseball player end up on a secret mission that could have changed everything? Well, that's one wild story. Hey everyone, welcome to History Crossroads. I'm your host Adam, and this is the podcast where we dive into the incredible true stories that somehow got left out of your history textbooks. If you're new here, we uncover the rebels, spies, and ordinary people who did extraordinary things when the world wasn't watching. And if you love stories like this one, do me a favor. Hit that follow button on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and X. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming up. All right, let's get back to Moe Berg and figure out how a backup catcher became one of World War II's most unlikely heroes. Moe Berg was born in 1902, and from day one, he was just different. His parents were Jewish immigrants who ran a drugstore in Newark. His dad wanted him to be a doctor or lawyer. You know, something respectable. But Moe had other ideas. This kid was scary smart. By high school, he was already fluent in Latin, Greek, French, and German. Not just, I can order a coffee fluent. We're talking full conversations about philosophy fluent. Then he gets into Princeton, which back then was basically a rich white guy's club. Jewish kids were rare there, but Moe didn't just survive, he thrived. He played shortstop on the baseball team and majored in languages. While other guys were partying, he was reading ancient texts for fun. But here's where it gets weird. After Princeton, most people would pick a lane, right? Not Moe. He goes to Columbia Law School and starts playing professional baseball. At the same time, who does that? For 15 years, he bounced around the major leagues: Brooklyn, Chicago, Cleveland, Boston. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't good either. Career .243 batting average. Spent most of his time on the bench. But the guy was fascinating. While other players were playing cards between innings, Moe would be reading philosophy books in ancient Greek. He carried this mysterious black bag everywhere, and nobody knew what was in it. His teammates thought he was nuts. Casey Stengel once said he was the strangest man ever to play baseball. Coming from Casey Stengel, that's saying something. The thing about Moe was that he could fit in anywhere and nowhere at the same time. He could discuss quantum physics with professors at Princeton, then go catch a doubleheader in Cleveland. He spoke more languages than most diplomats, but he spent his days in dugouts. He was like a puzzle that nobody could solve. So in 1934, Moe gets picked for this all-star tour of Japan. We're talking the big names here: Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, the works. It was supposed to be this goodwill thing, show the Japanese how great American baseball is. While everyone else is signing autographs and taking pictures, Moe's doing something completely different. He sneaks away from the group, puts on traditional Japanese clothes, and climbs up to the roof of a Tokyo hospital. Then he starts filming Japanese military installations with a hidden camera. Nobody asked him to do this. There was no mission. He just did it. Like he instinctively knew This information might be useful someday. And guess what? When World War II breaks out, that footage becomes incredibly valuable for American military planners. Suddenly, the US government is very interested in this weird baseball player who casually spied on Japan during his vacation. When the Office of Strategic Services, that's the OSS, basically the CIA, before there was a CIA, when they're looking for recruits, Moe's name comes up. Here's a guy who speaks a dozen languages, has an incredible memory, can blend into any crowd, and has already proven he can gather intelligence. Plus, and this is key, who's going to suspect a baseball player of being a spy? So Moe trades his catcher's mitt for a cover identity and starts working for the OSS. He's in his 40s by now, way past his athletic prime, but his real skills are just getting started. He goes to South America to track Nazi sympathizers. He works with resistance fighters in Europe. He delivers secret messages through enemy territory. And he's good at it, really good. But unlike James Bond, Moe doesn't drive fancy cars or use gadgets. His weapons are his brain, his ability to disappear into any situation, and the fact that nobody expects the quiet guy in the corner to be the most dangerous person in the room. Now we get to the big one, December 1944, and the Allies are freaking out because they think Germany might be close to building an atomic bomb. We've got the Manhattan Project going, but nobody knows what the Nazis are up to. The key guy on the German side is Werner Heisenberg, brilliant physicist, probably one of the smartest people alive, and he's giving a lecture in neutral Switzerland. So the OSS gives Moe what might be the most insane mission in the history of espionage. Go to this lecture, figure out if Germany is close to having nukes, and if you think they are, kill Heisenberg. Right there in the lecture hall. No backup. No extraction plan. Just Moe, a gun, and a cyanide pill in case things go wrong. Can you imagine? This former backup catcher is supposed to sit in a lecture hall and decide the fate of the war based on what he hears. If he gets it wrong either way, millions of people could die. So Moe goes to Zurich, walks into this lecture hall, and sits down like he's just another academic. He's got the gun in one pocket, the cyanide in the other, and he's listening to Heisenberg talk about physics. Now, Moe's scientific background isn't perfect, but it's good enough, and his German is flawless. So he's not just hearing the words, he's picking up on subtleties, hesitations, the stuff between the lines. And what he hears is frustration. Heisenberg sounds like a guy who's hitting roadblocks. His language suggests that, yeah, Germany has a nuclear program, but it's nowhere near ready. They're not about to drop atomic bombs on London next week. So, Moe makes a decision. He doesn't pull the gun. He doesn't take the cyanide. He just sits there, listens to the whole lecture, and quietly leaves. Later, he files his report. Germany's nuclear program exists, but it's not an immediate threat. Historians still argue about this. Was Heisenberg being deliberately vague? Was he protecting secrets? Or was Moe right, and Germany really was struggling with their bomb program? We'll never know for sure, but one thing is certain. Moe Berg, a backup catcher from Newark, made a decision in that lecture hall that could have changed the course of human history, and he made it alone. After the war ends, Moe has options. The newly formed CIA wants him. Universities are offering him teaching positions. He could write books, do interviews, cash in on his incredible story. Instead, he disappears. He turns down every job offer. He never writes a memoir. He rarely gives interviews. He moves from relative to relative, living off the kindness of family and old friends. When people ask him about his time in the OSS, he just smiles and says, "That's classified." Some people think it's tragic, this brilliant guy who saved the world and then faded into nothing. Others think maybe he was content. Maybe he'd done his part and didn't need the recognition. Moe Berg dies in 1972, practically unknown. No wealth, no fame, no monument to what he'd accomplished. But here's the thing about stories like this. They don't stay buried forever. In 1976, 4 years after his death, Moe Berg was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Nobody claimed it. It just sits in a display case at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Books started coming out about him. Nicholas Dawidoff wrote this incredible biography called The Catcher Was a Spy. Paul Rudd played him in a movie. Suddenly people were talking about Moe Berg again. And I think that's fitting, because Moe represents something we don't see enough of. The hidden hero. The person who doesn't fit the mold. The guy who looks ordinary but carries extraordinary secrets. He reminds us that some of the most important decisions in history are made quietly, by people nobody's paying attention to. So here's my question for you. What would you have done in that lecture hall? You're sitting there with a gun and a cyanide pill, listening to a brilliant scientist talk about physics, and you have to decide in real time whether he's close to building a weapon that could end the world. Do you pull the trigger based on suspicion? Do you let him live and risk being wrong? There's no right answer. And that's what makes Moe Berg's story so fascinating. He made an impossible choice with incomplete information, and somehow it worked out. Maybe that's what real heroism looks like. Not the flashy, obvious kind, but the quiet decisions made by ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. Moe Berg was a backup catcher who spoke 12 languages and might have saved the world. And then he just walked away. If that's not the most American story ever, I don't know what is. Thanks for listening to History Crossroads. If you want more stories about spies, rebels, and people who changed history when nobody was looking, hit that subscribe button. And let me know in the comments, what would you have done in Moe Berg's shoes? History is full of crossroads. Sometimes the most important ones are the ones nobody sees coming.